Hi, and welcome to this week's episode. Out in the backyard with the apples, trees. Got apples on the ground. Had deer back here. Plenty of deer. But this does not look like deer poo. Look, here's deer poo. Deer poo, right? Deer tracks. Deer love the apples. That's great. But I just wonder if that's bear. Don't know. Don't see any bears around. And of course it could be like coyote, canine, something, but wolf, I guess, because we have wolf. There are wolves in the pictured rocks way back there. But I would think that this is here because of the apples. However, if they're going after chipmunks or small creatures that are eating the apples, it could be wolves. So, poop investigation. If you have any thoughts, please chime in. I have no idea. Or is this good? Okay to be here?
Yep.
I'm gonna make breakfast. You need anything?
No, I'm good. Thank you.
You can see the leaves are starting to change. Very nice. The peak is supposed to be around October 1st this year. We have a new neighbor. They bought this property next to us. And look, they mowed. They mowed a lot. They've been using this as a driveway, and they come and go. And there's a camper over there, and I think that's what they're sleeping in until they get the house done. I mean, that's just a guess. We haven't met them. Isn't that interesting? Don't know how I feel about it. You know, it's nice having an empty lot next door. So, Gary, you'll see Gary working on the window in the GoPro. I, yesterday, pulled out the some loose strife and some evening primrose from the front garden bed, and it's over here now. And then this is daylilies that were growing wild out back. Somebody probably planted them a million years ago and they divided back there. There's a whole bunch back there, so we'll put that here. We'll have the loose strife and evening primrose here. I ordered some, what do you call them? Crocus bulbs. And then up here is where I'm going to do the native plants that are taller so they can compete with the milkweed. And so my plan is to let the milkweed grow here with native tall stuff over here, and then do, you know, black-eyed Susans. And then over here next year, I won't let the milkweed grow on this side. Like, I'll try to cut it off like there, and then I can do something different with there. That's the plan. We'll see. Don't know. Yeah, we'll see. We have marigolds that started blooming, which is really nice. I love them. Next year I want to do more of those. Looks like I need to harvest dill again. And then these morning glories, I got these seeds for free, and that's been fun. And they are a fall plant, so I'm hoping I can get some more seeds out of here at the end of the season. That'll be nice. That'd be cool to be able to have them next year too, because they're just fun. They're nice. It's a nice vine. Could figure that out. And the hummingbirds have liked them as a little snack before they migrate. The there was a milkweed that was falling down, like that one that I pulled up yesterday or the day before. And I pulled it up and I was carrying it out back, and there was a monarch caterpillar on it. Shoot. So I really got to, you know, as unsightly as they're starting to get, never know what's going on in here. So gotta leave it till the season's over now. Now we're committed. We're in there. And look, the bees like them too. All our pollinators. We have really great bees here. So many different kinds. And the hummingbirds are fun for everybody, the cats included. Looks like we have a cat, must have a caterpillar around here somewhere, or did, because those leaves are eaten. I read this thing that said that the caterpillar, whatever that chrysalis or whatever that thing is that they make the cocoons, that they, like, if they're gonna make one on a milkweed plant, they do it like they typically do it like on the third leaf down. I don't see any. I have no idea if that's true or not. I don't see anything that looks like a cocoon around here. Is that a cocoon? No. If you see a cocoon when I'm looking around here and I don't see, pick it out. Oh, you know what? I read that this is a pest. That little dude there, that's a pest. So I guess, oh, did it fly away? It flew away. So I guess, I can't remember what kind of pest. It's not a stink bug, but it's something like a stink bug. Alrighty. Munch away, everybody. Now's your time. Now's your time. So that red is evening primrose. And then that, with the little, looks like little seed buds or whatever on it, that is loose strife. So that's what I've been moving. And so once Gary and I, apparently I'm on standby to help Gary out, but so far he hasn't really needed me. But once those windows are done, then I can work on the other side bed. Anyway, that's what's going on out here today. The birds, the little sparrows are loving the chips. Must be some good bugs in there. Yummy.
We had gardening class here at the Chatham Community Garden on Sunday, and I saw this is their wildflower pollinator garden area that's taken over by goldenrods and tansies. And so there was some purple coneflower popping up, and I asked if I could take one because that's what I want to plant in our front flower bed to compete with the milkweeds. And they're like, take whatever you want because we're going to strip all this to get rid of all the tansy and goldenrod because the tansy is really killing everything and the goldenrod is squeezing things out. So I got 2 plants yesterday, and then today I came back for more. He said to take whatever you want. So I've got several coneflowers, and there are also some black-eyed Susans and some ornamental grasses. And I may come back for more. So, and a Grand Hotel raffle ticket sign. So hopefully I don't get stung by bees on the way home. See you on the home front. Oops, over and out. Look at those black-eyed seasons. Hopefully some of this takes, we'll see.
And I cannot have that. The judge suggested that Jack Astor, who'd been out of town, have a talk with the train. Their meeting was arranged. Oh, think of them beds, Garvin said to the court officer who led him before the rich gentleman. They both regarded each other. Bitter at the other, affecting nonchalance. How did you
So we had a good week. All sorts of different stuff going on. And now the sunflowers have bloomed. And the bees are happy and we're happy. This is the birds and the beans. Wait, where'd the bean go? There it is. The birds and the beans.
pretty. So I hope you enjoyed this week's video from Squashland back garden. Bye bye bees.